winter pollution is going to hit Delhi NCR anytime soon. So let's talk to Senior Advocate Vijay Panjwani, who's represented the Central Pollution Control Board in the Supreme Court for decades, about the problem and how we can deal with it. Welcome, Mr. Panjwani. So what do you think, why do you think this annual pollution hits us? Is it one factor? Is it many factors? What is it that forces this annual torment on us?
Now this annual thing is actually not annual. In Delhi, unfortunately, in fact, in Delhi NCR, National Capital Region, this phenomenon of air pollution is all the 12 months, but it gets aggravated during winter times because mainly of reason number one, firecrackers, reason number two, stubble burning, and then of course the usual 12 months air polluters, the cars, the vehicles, the trucks, the buses, everything mixed. So my answer to your query will be that there are major forces or major factors and there are minor factors.
Tell me, sir, the rich blame the poor farmers, Pareli, for the pollution. And the poor, that is the farmers and everybody else, blames the vehicular traffic. And it goes on and on. In percentage terms, what contributes the most to the air pollution?
Well, there's a third category which blames the winter. Winter of Delhi is blamed. That winter, it becomes so cold, the air is cold, the air is full of moisture. It doesn't allow the particulate matters to go up towards the sky. So everything is at the ground level. So this category is a very important category because comprises mainly of polluters who do not blame anyone, who do not want to rectify the situation, but blame the weather, blame climate change, and so many other things which bewilders me. Year after year, new reasons are brought which have nothing to do with their own pollution. They are the major source of pollution and they talk of climate change.
And this is which category?
This category is NGOs financed by corporations. There are many NGOs which are financed by corporations and they talk of climate change all the time. They talk of winter, they talk of moisture in the air. They also blame rains. That Delhi has no winter rains. The rains stop in the month of September. And wide publicity is given. This year, if you see the newspapers of 28th, 29th, 30th September, this year, 2023, you will find page after page that rain leaves Delhi. There will be no more rainfall. There will be no more western disturbances. I was aghast to see that why Times of India and other newspapers are so interested in saying goodbye to rains. The reason is the polluter lobby blames the rainfall, that there is no rain from October onwards. And yet, the air has a lot of moisture because of cold season.
Okay, sir, so since this is debatable, just tell us, we know that the CPCB has a GRAP or a graded response program. What exactly are citizens expected to do when pollution spikes?
Suffer?
No, is there any practical solution? Like, for example, grandparents could migrate to smaller towns, with the babies in tow or something like that?
No. I don't agree with this at all. Why the victim should go away, leave his home? And there are nobody, relatives don't welcome old people and school-going children. They have to attend school. So I cannot shift the blame from the polluter and then put it on the head of the victim. That the victim should go away. Leave Delhi and go away. Go away where? There's no option.
See, because...
Like I have no option at all. I have to live in Mayur.
Studies have shown that Air pollution is taking away 11 years of our life. So what do you suggest that we just put up? And who's the authority responsible for dealing with this mess?
These are multiple questions. Well, let us start with the authority. Let the thing be over, the first part. The authority, the Environment Protection Act and the Air Pollution Act, Air Pollution Prevention and Control Act, they all give the role of each agency. It's very clearly given. Now, you will be surprised to know that there is hardly any role assigned to CPC, except remain in the laboratory and do research work.
So they have the data basically.
They have data which they send to IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Kanpur. So it is very strange. There is no role assigned to the Supreme Court of India. But in practical world, you will see it is the Supreme Court of India and Central Pollution Control Board. These two agencies, the Supreme Court and the CPCB, they do the maximum work in containing pollution, in explaining. The hundreds of seminars are held to involve these industrialists, small ones, micro, middle, large, that please, when you throw out your waste, when you throw out your emissions from the stack height, the stacks, that big thing, chimneys you see are called stacks. When you emit smoke out of it, please ensure that the least amount is emitted. When you do the effluent discharge, see that you do some kind of effluent treatment before discharging. These seminars are being held, at least I know, from 1995 to date. Sometimes some people do listen. I will tell you one very small example. The role of CPCB in Supreme Court was very clear that we don't want to punish the industry or punish the polluter. That we were very clear. Because this man or this woman does not know what he or she is to do. So we used to explain in court by way of affidavits and by having personal meetings. Just imagine having personal meetings inside the Supreme Court before the case begins, that please, you follow these things in our report. You follow, and point by point we used to discuss with them, with each polluter, that this is what you have to do. This is what you are doing. This is what you have to do. But this is what you are doing. And then in court, things would be, and another report was ordered. Most of the time, CPCB succeeded in bringing down air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, waste pollution. Most of the time, by having a dialogue with individual industries. But the problem is there are so many. How many individual meetings can we have? I mean, how many individual meetings can the CPCB have? Very few compared to the size of India. And then the role of state pollution control boards. Now, the state pollution control board is really in charge. They are in charge of this identifying polluting units. In my view, every industrial unit, in fact, every human being, is polluting all the time. Human beings are polluting all the time. You are breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. So you are not breathing out oxygen in any case. Oxygen remains inside and the rest of the air comes out.
So you are saying that none of us can do anything because we are the victims and the responsibility lies with the polluters. Now the polluters are too many. But there are institutions who deals with GRAP, and what does GRAP imply for the ordinary man?
See, GRAP is not CPCB. GRAP is a notification issued by Ministry of Environment. Though
So
CPCB played a very big part initially when it was formed. Very name GRAP was given by CPCB. I remember those meetings because I attended a couple of them. How to deal with this problem. We also had meetings how to deal with sanitary napkins. Just imagine, sanitary napkins became a huge problem. It is still a problem, but under covers. कि भाई होता ही नहीं. Then toilets under Swachh Bharat. Hundreds and thousands of toilets have been constructed all over India, in the villages, small towns. No septic tank, no flush. It is just a box. And how do you remove the solid waste? By bringing a bucket of water and throwing it. And who does it? Not the daughter, not the son, the daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law is told, fill up water in the bucket and just put it there and clean that solid waste. This is India.
Yes, yes. But sir, tell me, GRAP, what does GRAP entail? The
GRAP
graded
deals with
response.
these things only. GRAP deals with this. These are not small things. Sanitary towels, Swachh Bharat toilets. These are not small. These are huge, big problems. Like the Okhla, I'll just come to this GRAP. This huge 3 hills of Delhi at Okhla and other near Ghaziabad.
The garbage hills.
Yes. These garbage hills, what are these? These are small domestic things. We are waste throwing away. Who's throwing waste? The residents of Delhi are throwing waste. And most of it is plastic. How you will deal with it? I have no idea. But Kejriwal and others, they've now started doing something after 9 years. What were you doing for 8 years? What was BJP, what was AAP and Congress and all? What were they doing for all these years? It was just growing up, and you just talked, you just debated. And the Supreme Court went on telling them from 95 onwards, please manage your solid waste. It's becoming a big problem. And affidavits are filed. We are doing this, that. But actually, you don't see it coming down. Actually, you see the hills growing up. Now, GRAP does not deal only with air pollution. It deals with many other things, as I told you. GRAP gives you an air quality index. We understand GRAP to be focused only in this air pollution. So what does it do? Every day, or nowadays, every second, every minute, there is air quality index indicating that you are in fair, satisfactory, or poor, or very poor status of air in Delhi. So if you see now, since the last 3 days, you will find that the Delhi air has become poor. That means the air quality index will show above 200, 200 plus will be poor. Up to 50 is good. So like this, up to 150 to 100 is satisfactory, 200 plus is poor. So now 200 plus is poor. All over Delhi, we used to think that Noida and Greater Noida would have less pollution. The reverse is happening. Noida and Greater Noida, despite very open spaces, are more polluted than this densely populated Delhi. I don't know how it has happened. There is no answer. I keep on asking these people, please answer me this. How is it happening? So industry ज़्यादा लग गया है. So then what are you doing?
What happens when the index becomes worse and worse? So what happens at every stage?
A very funny thing is that the machines we have do not measure for more than 1.5, 2 kilometers. The machines which show you how much air pollution is there in the air, which means particulate matter, basically particulate matter. How much is there? So the particulate matter, which is in 2.5 and 10 mg or 2.5 mg, now in 2.5 mg, it can go up to 60 mg. 60 milligrams is okay, up to 60. Now, Dasera, what happens is, I'll jump and then come back to the machines. In Dasera, what happens? It goes up to 1400 mg. The problem I have with 1400 is that the machines which State Pollution Control Board and CPCB have 23,000 machines are there now. 20,000 machines. इतना ऐसा box होता है, small box like this. In that, you see how much particulate matter it is showing in the air. Now the machine has a range not of 1,500 square kilometers of Delhi, not of 44,000 square kilometers of Delhi NCR, of Noida, Greater Noida, Gurgaon, Ghaziabad. No. It has 1.5 to 2 kilometers maximum. This is all. That is why 20,000 machines are required. Now, who's doing the count? Does anyone go and compare that a machine, 2-3 machines in the same area, are they showing the same reading? When you ask me these questions, I ask them these questions. Have you put 3 machines at the same place to see whether they are working properly? There's no answer.
Yes, mostly everything is, as in India, is lesson number, ad hoc. That I can understand. So tell me.
Same thing in America. Same polluters are there. Same arguments are there. Yet their machine is
there is a
slightly.
lack of will to address the problem.
In America, there is not so much of laxity as in India. But the most of the strict pollution control boards are in Europe, Western Europe. They're very, very strict. They'll just go and close the industry. They'll lift the car. They'll do anything. But maintain what? What you have usually 200 plus. If you go to Netherlands and other places like this, it is 10. 10. AQI is 10.
That's must be because public transport and cycling and no vehicular pollution.
There is a place in Dehradun, near Dehradun, where the helicopters go up and down. In Dehradun, they have a helipad. I brought a machine from the State Pollution Control Board and we set it up in a place called Gujarmi. It was 3. I told them this machine is not working. How can it be 3? We are in India. But they said, yes, it is only 3. AQI is 3 in Gujarmi, near where the helicopters land and go up. Because there's nothing, there's all green hills.
So another point of interest everybody wants to know is, when do schools shut down and offices shut down? What pollution levels?
I don't know. Normally it should be 200. At 200, when it becomes poor, you don't send up to class 4. Well, what do they do at home? The pollution is there at home or in school. So where do you send them? If you if you tell the school you don't open now because it's 200, and if child comes home, it is still 200 or maybe more. So this is a very, very complex problem. You have to just suffer. I told you in the beginning, the residents of Delhi, what will they do? Suffer and smile.
Unless the government steps in and takes some strong measures, I guess, or there's a political will across parties to deal with this issue, this problem is going to continue. That is what you're saying.
No, the people have to understand. The victims themselves, because the victims are polluted, they have to understand.
Okay, tell me of 5 broad things that every citizen can do, victim can do to check pollution, separate his waste, and what else?
All right. They start with your domestic garbage, because that is also throwing all kinds of gases. Throwing gases in the air. Use less and less of plastic. When the government bans thin plastic bags or thin plastic spoons, dishes, please don't use them, because the government does not have the willpower to stop the manufacture, to stop the distribution. Thousands of times I have said, please do not ask the residents not to use. Just go and close that factory. It is factory made, these thin plastic things. Pinny, why don't you just stop that factory? Because it affects employment. So I don't know what your personal view is. Why don't you stop manufacturing? And if you manufacture, it will be distributed. You cannot stop distribution.
One is plastic, one is separation of cyclable, recyclable waste, and the other organic waste. What else?
They are big air polluters, these things. Very big air polluters. Okay, 2. Third is solid waste management of the bathroom. Next is solid waste management of the bathroom. This is, I'm telling you, starts at home. The residents have to now get to grips with this. You have to do it. That is 2. Then we enter the road. Now come out of the home. Home has these plastics and domestic waste and solid waste from the bathroom. Then you leave your home, come out on the road. On the road, you have these cars, scooters. There are thousands of scooters, motorcycles, thousands of motorcycles and scooters in Delhi. So what do? You get them checked. You see that you are following that standards fixed by the government. Every petrol pump you can have it checked for a very small fee. And scooters, motorcycles, cars, they should do it. But they don't do it. They don't even carry driving license with them. To stop, half the cars the driver will not have driving license, not even photocopy. This is the type of behavior, conduct of our citizens. So cars and scooters, please have them checked every 3 months, or if there's it's a new car, and every 1 year. For your own good, have it checked once in 6 months. There are no big lines. If you go to a petrol pump, you'll find big lines for this CNG fuel. Smaller line for petrol, and almost no line for checking of the emission.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much for your information on air pollution. So this leaves the onus on citizens. They have to protect themselves and also take responsibility for the garbage, the sewage, and only then is pollution going to improve in the long term with institutional support and state willingness to do something about it. Sir, thank you so much.